Shalom, Holy Blossom. It's been a hard and heavy week. Last weekend, we thrilled at Yuval Raphael's performance at the Eurovision competition. Her model of strength lifted us up. And then our hearts were shaken when, on the holiday Monday, we read the joint statement from Canada, the UK, and France. I urge you to read Arsen Ostrovsky's article in yesterday's National Post. He's an international human rights lawyer and has a lot to say to meet this moment. Tuesday night, we were lucky enough to welcome Tal Becker to Holy Blossom in partnership with the Shalom Hartman Institute of Jerusalem. Tal was extraordinarily self-reflective about what we have learned since October 7th, what we can do differently to create a path to security and peace, and how we must defend Israel's right to defend herself. Wednesday afternoon, I met with Holy Blossom's Riding's new MP, Leslie Church, and we spoke about many things, including combating anti-Semitism here in Canada and about strengthening the ties between Canada and the Jewish state. And that night, I went to see my old Hebrew U friend, John Polin, and his extraordinary wife, Rachel Goldberg Polin, at the Simon Wiesenthal event. Now, I remember John as quite shy and soft-spoken, a true mensch through and through. But Wednesday night, I heard him address a crowd of 2,300, and he spoke in a clear and a loud voice saying, "It's time to stand tall now with our shoulders back and our chin up." Thursday morning, many of us woke to the news of the shooting outside of the Capitol Jewish Museum in Washington, D.C. And we were shaken but not shocked, because this is what happens when crowds call for global intifada. This is what happens when crowds chant resistance by all means necessary. Why would anyone be surprised? Real peace activists would call for peace, might call for an end to the war or a ceasefire, but that is not what we are hearing. For a year and a half, and then some, for nearly 600 days, we have seen unchecked Jew hatred posing as justice-seeking. I fear the anti-Semitic and anti-Zionist slogans that have been chanted for so long and by so many now, that the messages have seeped into the bedrock of society and have become normalized. Yair Rosenberg writes in The Atlantic, like Hamas, the perpetrator in Washington wrapped his anti-Semitic animus in the disguise of the Palestinian struggle, reportedly pulling out a keffiyeh and shouting, "Free, free Palestine." But his depraved actions, like theirs, exposed the lie of his lofty words. Neither Palestine nor Israel will ever truly be free until their societies are liberated from megalomaniac men who perpetrate demonic acts in their name. The FBI and the police, Yair continues, are investigating the shooting as a potential hate crime. But the larger question today is, will our society provide excuses and justifications that fuel further anti-Jewish violence? Or will it choose to stand against those who use such pretexts to brutalize Jews? Sarah Milgram and Yaron Lashinsky attended an event designed to build bridges among Jews, Christians, and Muslims. Remarkably, the title of the event was Turning Pain into Purpose. Both Sarah and Yaron were employees of the Israeli embassy in Washington, and you have probably heard by now they were about to be engaged. Yaron had the ring and was planning to propose to Sarah in Jerusalem next week. On their LinkedIn pages, both speak of their dreams of working for peace. Sarah wrote, "My passion lies at the intersection of peace-building, religious engagement, and environmental work. Having studied peace-building theory, emphasizing grassroots initiatives in the Israeli-Palestinian region." And Yair wrote, "I am an ardent believer in the vision that was outlined in the Abraham Accords, and believe that expanding the circle of peace with our Arab neighbors and pursuing regional cooperation is in the best interest of the State of Israel and the Middle East as a whole. To this end," Yaron says, "I advocate for interfaith dialogue and intercultural understanding." I mourn Sarah, I mourn Yaron. My heart breaks for their families. And I mourn for all the good that the two of them would have achieved together, all that they would have contributed to making this world a better place. Sarah Milgram grew up in our sister congregation, B'nai Yehuda, in Kansas. The Reform Movement, the URJ, has set up a link so that we can send direct messages of consolation and comfort to the Milgram and Lashinsky families. So I urge you to do just that by clicking the link below. But please take note, if the purpose of terrorism is to terrorize, if the purpose of terrorism is to strike fear into the hearts of communities like ours, to use violence to beat others into silence and submission and hiding, then anti-Semitic terror will fail. Because despite the haters and apologists, the results are surging Jewish identity and pride. I see it every day at Holy Blossom Temple. There is pride in our history, there is joy in our customs, there is confidence in our values, there is a love of Torah wisdom. The kind of Zionism that we embrace defends Israel's right and responsibility to defend its people. The kind of Zionism we stand for refuses to demonize others, but rather celebrates the diversity of religious and cultural identities within the Jewish state. And we empathize with any and all innocents who suffer on her borders. This is who we are. Terrorists cannot take these principles away from us. We know who we are. We know to whom we belong. In this time of fear, of course, we must remain vigilant and resolute. I assure you, Holy Blossom's security team constantly tweaks and adjusts its posture in collaboration with local police and the security network of Toronto's Jewish organizations. We take that responsibility very seriously. We cannot allow fear to deter us from living openly and proudly as Jews, not in this time or this place. So I hope to be with you on this Shabbat. We will take comfort and confidence in one another. We will raise our voices together in prayers for healing, for protection, for peace. And I hope to be with you at Sunday's Walk with Israel as well. You can go to the UJA webpage and find a whole FAQ, even a webinar about security. So I'll see you there. I'll look for you and you can look for me. I'll be the one still proudly waving the flags of Israel and Canada together. Shabbat Shalom.